When we first bought our home, I knew that I wanted to add a backsplash, but I knew that I didn't want to pay anyone to do it, so I decided to try and do it myself. And this is what the results look like. And since I'd added the backsplash to the kitchen, I thought that I could also add some tile to the floor in our basement area that looked pretty tore up, as you can see. So I decided to use some adhesive for tile and some grout to get this job done. And I also needed a tile trowel and also a big sponge to wipe up the excess grout when I filled it in. I decided to use some tile that were on mesh so that I could cut the tile that I needed to size, and I wanted some tile that was close to the color of the concrete because I didn't want to change the area up too much. This is what the concrete looked like before I added any tile or anything was down in this area. And here I'm just spreading out the tile all across this area because I didn't know what I wanted the tile to look like or how I wanted to put it down. So I decided to just do it in rows, and I placed it down without any adhesive. I decided to use my finger for spacing because I did use some spacers in the kitchen, but I didn't like it. So here I'm taking the trowel and I'm putting down the adhesive for the floor, and I'm using these spacers to add gaps into the adhesive. You want to make sure to do this step so that there is air in the adhesive. And then you just want to take your towel and press it down firmly on top of the adhesive. Here I'm doing the same step. I put down the adhesive. I'm making sure that there are air lines in the adhesive, and then I'm pressing down the tile. I'm going to keep going doing this over and over into this space. This is not a large space. It's actually very small. It's like a tiny walkway, if you would. So I just did this all around. And then when I got to the edges, I had a little bit of problems because they are rounded around the doorways. And so this is where the mesh tile came in. I cut some of the tile from the mesh, and I decided to use a hammer to dwindle away pieces of the tile so that I will get the shapes that I needed. And this is what I came up with. I was able to get it kind of rounded around the corners. As you can tell, it's not perfect, but it did work out. And if you just take your time with this, you'll be able to do it. This is what the tile looks like before I put any grout down on it, and I let this set for almost 24 hours. So here is the grout. I'm getting ready to put it down on the floor, and I'm not a professional, so I decided to just get a big ball of it, slap it down on the floor, and I thought using more would be more effective. For this part, I was supposed to have a rubber spatula used for tiling, but I forgot to buy it, so I just used a rubber spoon, and it actually got the job done well. I learned that if I dip the spoon into some water and then start to spread the grout, that it spread pretty easily. As you guys can tell, it's kind of like spreading cake icing. And what I did was I just spread it actually the same way you would spread cake icing, except I'm pushing down into the tile to make sure that the grout is going into all the spaces, because you don't want to leave any spaces unfilled. So I'm just spreading with my rubber spoon. And then once I get everything spread out, I'm taking the back of the spoon and I'm pressing down firmly and pulling back just to pick up the extra grout that didn't go down into the spaces. You want to make sure that you pick up the extras like this. Once you have some of the extra grout up, you want to take your wet sponge, well, not wet, you want it to be kind of damp, and you want to wipe away the additional grout. Actually do this systematically as you go. And this is what the floor looked like once I'd finished the grout process. I think that the floor came out pretty well. It's still holding up, and I'm happy with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.